What's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Not yet at the studio today. Gonna head in a couple of minutes, but first, we got some breaking news to discuss, and I wanted to get you guys a video as soon as possible. That's why you subscribe to the channel. When the Giants make a move, we make a video. No matter what we're doing, no matter where we are, we're going to stop, drop, and roll and get you the latest Giants news. And today it circulates around the wide receiver position and signing a veteran in NFL free agency. Joe Schoen and the New York Giants have signed veteran wide receiver Allen Robinson to what I am expecting is a one-year veteran minimum deal. Before we go any further about Allen Robinson, what this means for the Giants wide receivers, and maybe a trade coming for Darius Slayton, I want to hear from all of you in the comment section. What is your one-word reaction to the signing of Allen Robinson? He's been in the league for quite some time. He was a second-round pick in the 2014 NFL Draft. He spent time with the Jaguars, the Chicago Bears, the Los Angeles Rams, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now the New York Giants. He also is a Penn State Nittany Lion. One-word reaction to Allen Robinson being signed. I want to hear from all of you down in the comments section. For me, my one word is depth, and that is really all that I see out of this move of the Giants signing Allen Robinson. And I think he will provide some competition when we go through mini camps, OTAs, off-season programs, and when we finally get into training camp. He will be a guy that will provide competition for this wide receiver room. And he's had a pretty damn good career in the National Football League. In 2014, his rookie year, with the Jaguars, had 48 catches for 548 yards, 2 touchdowns. The next year, 80 catches for 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. That was his best season in the National Football League. Then he had 2 more years with the Jaguars, 2016, 73 catches for 883 yards and 6 touchdowns. Only played 1 game in 2017, was dealing with some injuries. Then he spent 4 seasons with the Chicago Bears, and that's where he was really good. Maybe the best stretch of his career. Over that 4-year stretch, had 293 receptions for 3,561 yards, 12.2 yards per catch, and 18 touchdowns. But it was that last year with the Bears where he started to fall off his game. Only had 66 targets, 38 grabs, 410 yards, and 1 touchdown. Spent 10 games with the Rams in 2022, 33 grabs for just under 340 yards and 3 scores. And then 17 games last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had 34 catches for 280 yards. So he is an accomplished player in this league. Multiple years of over 1,000 yards. He has 3 of those seasons under his belt. Has years of 14 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns. He's had a really good career. 30 years old, so he's definitely on the back half of his career. His best days are behind him. But as we know, the Giants have had one of the worst wide receiver cores in recent memory, and they have addressed that this offseason, selecting Malik Nabers in round 1 out of LSU, the dynamic playmaker. I said it time and time again, he's going to change life for the Giants offense. And now you're bringing in a guy like Allen Robinson, who at the very least will provide some veteran leadership as well as some competition in the summer. Who could he be competing with to make this roster? Let's break it down. Malik Nabers, he's a lock to make the roster, as is Jalin Hyatt, as is Wan'Dale Robinson, and as is Darius Slayton. I had some thoughts about Darius Slayton. We'll talk about that in a second. That's 4 wide receivers. The Giants kept 6 last year. I think they'll keep at least 6 again this year, and I could see one of those spots going to Gunnar Olszewski, so you could have a punt return specialist. Prior 2 years, Giants have really struggled in that department. I think Joe Schoen knows he needs to keep a roster spot for that player. I could see Olszewski being that guy, which really means there's only 1 wide receiver position open, and there's guys battling, like Isaiah Hodgins, Allen Robinson, Isaiah McKenzie, Miles Boykin, Dennis Houston, Bryce Ford-Wheaton, who I know a lot of you all love, the UDFA John Giles, another UDFA Ira Asante. What about Chase Cota? There are some players that are going to be competing for that final spot if they do keep 6 receivers, and one of them going to a return specialist. But I think a direct competition this summer will be Isaiah Hodgins versus Allen Robinson. Hodgins was awesome with the Giants in his first season. I remember the day exactly when he was signed. We were going live on the channel. I looked at Seeps and I said, Giants just signed Isaiah Hodgins. Let's do a quick video. We broke it down, and it was awesome to see him become one of the best players on this team, which is what he was that year. But he fell out of the rotation. He fell out of the shuffle in 2023. Didn't play all that much, averaged less than 20 yards per game. And the Giants didn't give him that qualifying offer that he wanted at the end of the season. They agreed to a 1-year, essentially veteran minimum deal, and he's back on that deal. But now you bring in Allen Robinson, who's more accomplished on that pretty much same exact deal, and they're a lot alike as a receiver. They're both bigger guys that have a limited route tree, really strong at the catch point, great contested catch guys. Robinson more so a better contested catch guy than Isaiah Hodgins, but they're both those bigger players that can line up in the slot. Last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Allen Robinson had 430 snaps when a pass play was run. 297 of those snaps came in the slot. So he can line up in the slot. He's also lined up on the outside, but as he's got older, as he's lost some foot speed, he's slid into the slot. Route tree's a little easier to create separation against smaller nickel corners, linebackers, and safeties, and it's a shorter throw for the quarterback. So Robinson has had success. He plays in the slot. He can play outside. I think he's going to compete with Isaiah Hodgins to make this team. I also have thoughts on what this could mean for Darius Slayton in a potential trade. We'll talk about that in a second, but make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We put out free, informative, entertaining updates every day on the New York Giants. Not the studio today, so no graphics, no headset. I know some of you get upset that we have to wear a headset so we can hear our producers, and you also don't like my radio voice, whatever that means. But you know what? We're going to continue to just crush it, man. Free, informative videos every day. Just woke up after 5 hours of sleep last night. Knicks big win, and we're back at it. And we're talking Allen Robinson of the Giants. So subscribe and turn the notifications on. While I don't think it's necessarily true that signing Allen Robinson in May in free agency means that the Giants are going to trade Darius Slayton, but it doesn't mean that they're any less likely to do so, if you catch what I'm saying. Darius Slayton wants a new contract. He's on the final year of his deal, signed a 2-year, I believe it was, let me just look it up real quick. I want to say it was a 2-year, $16 million, 2-year, $12 million deal back in May of 2023. And Darius Slayton wants a new deal. And he's probably outperformed that contract. You look at some of the other contracts, and we've broken that down on the channel, that receivers that produce to a similar level that he did, they're getting paid a lot more. But Joe Schoen has him on a deal that he's going to have to play on. And he wants a new deal. It doesn't sound like Joe Schoen's going to give him that deal. Or at least that's what it sounded like at his pre-draft presser when speaking to the media. And I don't know. Darius Slayton says he's confident on a contract resolution with the Giants. Does that mean a trade? Does that mean a new deal? I'm not so sure. But I do think that going out and adding a guy like Robinson, at the very least, gives you another player you can depend on if you do trade Darius Slayton. I would not trade him. I would keep him for the final year of his deal. He signed it last year. And you know what? It stinks, but that's the way life goes. I would make Darius Slayton a part of this team next year. I would not trade him unless I got a 3rd or a 4th round pick. And I don't think that will happen. But news of the day, Allen Robinson, you are a New York Giant. We'll be back later with another video. So subscribe, turn your notifications on, and hit that thumbs up icon for me on your way out.